You might be wondering, how do I create such a login form in Microsoft Excel so that the users can be able to put their username and then the password, and then they'll be able to access the workbooks that you have. So we're going to test with this one. We're going to enter one username and password, and then you're going to log in. And once you log in, you are going to see that you are able to access this workbook that we have here. So without wasting much of your time, I'm going to take you step by step into how you can create such a login form that will enable more than one user to be able to access your file. So you're going to go to file menu. So you're going to go to file menu, then you're going to create a new workbook. So you click on the new workbook here, and then the first thing that you're going to do is we are going to change the name of this worksheet. So from this name to, you can call it users. So, and the reason why we are doing this is so that you can be able to remember when you're writing the VBA code. We are doing this one with VBA code in Microsoft Excel. Then you're going to have another workbook, and this one you can call it, you can give it a name. So you can maybe you can write something like sales. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add some data into this worksheet. So you'll have username and you'll have password, and you're going to create some usernames. The first one can be admin. Remember, you can put any username that you want. Then you can have another one like karaoke, and you can have password as minor. You can also have another username, and this one you are going to call it, it can be like that. So we'll work with those three usernames, and we can save our file. So let's save our file. It's good to save your file when you're working, so that in case of anything you don't lose your work. And this one you can call it login 2. And to save this one, if you are going to use VBA or macro, it's good you change from save as type from Excel workbook to Excel macro enabled workbook. Then you're going to save. You've saved our work. Then we now come to, so this one you can hide. So you right click this one, you hide. Then we can now come to creating the form. So what you're going to see that we have on these tabs that you have here, we have a tab called developer. But in most cases, maybe in your computer or in your Microsoft Excel, this tab is not visible. So I'm going to show you how you can be able to activate this one. There are two ways to do this. So the first way is that you're going to right click somewhere on one of these tabs. Then you're going to go to customize ribbons. Then you're going to access this window, and under the window you're going to see customize ribbon. Under this section you're going to see developer. Make sure that this one is checked. So you make sure that it is checked, then you say okay. Then the second way is that you can go to the files, then you go to options, then you're going to access the same window. So you click on customize the ribbons, then you're going to access the same. Make sure that the developer tab is selected. So from there, now you're going to go to developer tab, and we are going to click on Visual Basic. And as you can see here, you can also use the window shortcuts, that is Alt plus F11. So you click on this one, and you're going to access something like this. So we are going to start by creating, so this one, we are working on this one. So what you're going to do is that we are going to start by coding. So the first thing that you're going to code is we're going to code this workbook. So you're going to right click, and then you're going to go to view code, and we are going to change from general to workbook, and then from open we are going to change to activate, so that when you click on the workbook, that is when you click on the file wanting to open the workbook, what is going to happen? So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to make sure that the workbook does not open. So we are going to say application dot visible. So this one will make sure that the workbook is not visible even when you open the workbook. And what you want, so this one has to be false, not true. And what we want is we want our form that you are going to create. So you have username, user form dot show. So what we want is that the user form is going to appear. So then we are now going to create a new file form. So you click on this one and you're going to have this form. And under the properties, you can change this one. So you can change this one to user form. And under the captions, so this one you can call it user login form. Yeah, like that. Then the next thing that you're going to do is that we are going now to add the text box, or the field where you'll be able to use to enter the password and the username. And if you look here, you have the controls. So you're going to click on the text box. So you click here on the text box, and then you take it here and then you draw like that. This one you can change this to txt username. So you can give it that name. Then you can copy this one. You right click, you copy, and then you paste. Once you paste, so this one will be for the password. You can change this one to txt password. It's good to put a name that you'll be able to remember. And then apart from that, when you're also going to change, remember when you're putting the password, you don't want anyone to see what you're writing. So you're going to change the character. So you're going to go downward until you find the password car, this one, and you're going to put the character that you'll be using for the password. So we can put any. And then we now come to labeling our text boxes. So you're going to click on this letter R for the label, and then you're going to write the name of that. So this one you're going to call it username. Maybe you can make it in caps. So we are going to say username. And we can change the size. Font can be something a bit bigger. Remember, you can format your text as you wish. So this one we are going to make it, you can make it like size 14. Then you say okay. Then we are going to copy this one like you have copied with the text box, and then you are going to paste. You can use Ctrl V to paste once you have copied. Then this one you are going to change to password. Then you can see that now you can get a clear picture of what you are trying to create. Then the next thing that we are going to put a command box. So this one you're going to draw here, and we are going to change this one to maybe something like CDM login. Remember, we said you put a name that you'll easily remember. Then this one you can change the caption. Caption is what is going to appear on top of the control that you are using. Then once you do that, then the next thing that you're going to do is now we come to coding. So you can fill the code so that we can start coding. So the event that we are coding is that we are coding when the user clicks on that command box. So we start creating, and the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to declare some variables. To declare variables in VBA, use dim. Then we want to declare the username and the password, and this one will be string because we'll be typing text, or whatever you're going to type is going to be treated as text. Then we're also going to declare the user row as long. So this is the row where we'll be getting a user. We'll come to that one. Then we can also declare the workbook or the worksheet that you'll be working with. So the first one, you can call it worksheet 1, then worksheet 2, yes, worksheet, and you'll come later to see what you are doing, and then dim find users as range. So we are going to look at the range. So that one, you have declared all the variables that you'll be using in this field. Then the next thing is that you are going to set the worksheet that you are going to be using. Remember, in this workbook that we created, so in this workbook, remember you have changed the names of this worksheet. So you're going to declare them so that the computer can be able to know what you are working with. So we are going to set WS1 equals then this workbook, the current open workbook dot sheets, and the first one that you're going to use is the one that we remade as users. Then we are going to set this set WS2 equals this workbook dot sheets. Then remember you also named another one as sales. Then from there, now we come to assigning values to our password and username, and we are going to come to username, and username we are going to assign it to the value that you have on text, txt username. In our form, we have named this field called txt username dot value. Then the password will be txt password that is in our form dot value. So you have assigned these values too. Now when the computer will be checking, it will be checking for the username, that for the field that is entered on the text t username, and also for the password it will be looking for the value that is entered in a text box called txt password. Then from there we are going to check, even before we log in, we are going to check, that is, remember you are looking at when you click on the cmd.login control. So you're going to check if username is equal to blank, so those two quotes means blank, or password equals blank. Then if any of these two fields does not have value, then what you're going to do is that you are going to tell the user, so you're going to give the user the feedback. So we can say fields must have values, yes. So you can tell them to please enter and try again. then you can also have VB information. So this one will be accompanying the message box, and then we can add the if. So this one is going to check, does either the username or the password have some values. If they don't have, then you cannot continue because you must enter some values to continue. Then The next thing that you're going to check is you're going to set. Remember, we declared a variable called find user. So this one you're going to assign. So you're going to set find user into, and what you're going to assign is that you're going to assign .w.columns. So we have sws1 dot columns, then into bracket, what you are looking at is column 1, and then find, and what we are looking at is that we are looking for what into username. You're going to look at the username in the whole worksheet. Then you're going to look in .x values, look what, look at, not look what, look at, then Excel whole, and then you're going to close that one. So this one is going to look at the whole workbook to see if there is any field like that one. So we can continue, we'll come and correct that one. Continue. So we had reached a point where we are correcting this one. So you're going to see that this one is missing the equal sign, and also this one was missing the equal sign. So that one should be good. So assuming that we are looking at this one, and then we are going to confirm. So you're going to see if I find user is nothing. So meaning that the user is not found in that worksheet. So what you're going to do is you're going to inform the user. So you're going to inform the user that that username is not found, and we can also write VB critical. And then the next thing that you are going to do is you are going to make sure that whatever was entered in those two fields is removed. So you are going to say, and also txt username is .value .text. Sorry, this one should be text equals. So this one will empty whatever the user had entered so that he can start again. So this one .text. Then, so after doing that, we are going to exit that sub, and then we are going to check else. We are going to assign user low. Remember, you have declared user row as low into find user dot row. So the user that has been found, you're going to assign him or her to that row. Then you're going to check for the password. If ws.cell ws1.cell, then user low, then 2 value equals password. So you're going to check is the field next to the username, the password, that is the password correct, the one that has been entered on the form, is it the one that is saved in the workbook? If yes, then you can tell him login successful. So you can say login successful. And then this one you can put with VB okay only. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to close this form. Then remember you had set application is not feasible, so you're going to change this one, application dot feasible equals true. And then we're also going to make sure that the feasible workbook is dot feasible equals true. And then else if the password is not okay, then you're supposed to give feedback to the user message box. Password incorrect, like that. And then we are going to add if, the first add if, then we are also going to add if the other if. Remember there are two ifs here. And then we are going to save our work. Then we can close this one to see if it is working. Then we can come to here, we saved our work. Then it was under, so this is our file that we saved. So you just open the file, the workbook, and wait for it to open. The work, you may get an error like this one, and what you're going to see that this line of code has some problem. This one you just adjust to from cell to cells, and it should work properly. So you close this one, you say okay, then you can come and open this form again. So you get a form like that one, you put then admin, and then you log in. So admin, oh, the password was 1 2 3 4. If you remember, you had entered password as 1 2 3 4 5. Then you say okay. So you can see that that form is working correctly. Then anyone without the username and the password cannot be able to access. That is might be one way of saving or protecting your Excel worksheet. So thank you for your time. Remember to like this video, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.